Hi, welcome back to another show. My name is Jeetu Jason, and you're watching Impact India. I went to the Thumba Equatorial rocket launch station today, this morning, and they gave me a few things. They gave me this paper bag, and there are a few stuff in it. Actually, they give this to everyone who comes there, and the registration is free. You don't have to pay any money. So no, they give you a cupcake and they give you some moong dal. This is all free, you don't have to pay for anything. They give you something to stay hydrated, like a Tropicana can. And finally, they give you something like a souvenir, like this one. This is a keychain. And now let me try to zoom in. On one side, you have, the Chandrayaan image. And on the other side, you have National Space Day something. So that this is a souvenir that they get. This is all free. They give it to you for free. So how do you reach that? There are like 50 gates at Thumba Rocket Launch Center. I went to like 3 gates, and they all said, the next one is the right gate. So the name of the gate is Canal Gate. Okay, that's the gate you need to reach in order to see the launch. And there's a big board there. The Space Research Center, Space Museum is located there. So once you reach there, you have to park your car, and you cannot take any phones except for one smartphone that has your registration details. And once you show the registration details, you have to, keep your phone there. You cannot carry it, and you cannot take a camera. You cannot even carry a smartwatch. No weapons, obviously. So once you enter that, there are like buses, both AC and non-AC buses that shuttle you from three places to places. So there are 3 places. One is a control center from where you can watch the launch and also see the rocket once it reaches in space on the radar. Now, I didn't go there. I went to the launch pad. That is the second place that you can go to. Now, you can see the rocket up close very personally. And then the third place is the museum. So let's talk about the rocket launch itself. So I reached there 45 minutes earlier, and I waited at the launch pad. There's a big tent. There are like 500 people there, and you can wait there until 15 minutes before the launch. A fire truck comes, and followed by an ambulance, just in case if the rocket blows up on the launch pad, they need to do something about it. And if somebody gets hurt, for that there's an ambulance also. And yes, it is really that close. Okay, you can walk from the visitor location, the viewing site, to the rocket in 5 minutes. If you run, you can reach the rocket in 2 minutes. It's that close. It's really close. Now, fortunately, this is not an orbital class rocket. This is a sounding rocket that is a suborbital rocket that reaches maybe Mach 5 or something like that. Not Mach 21, which is what you need for an orbital class rocket. So it's a small rocket, and it's a 2-stage rocket. It's such a small rocket that 10 people can carry it on their shoulders. It is that small. It's more like a missile. Yeah. So now, just because it's small doesn't mean the sound it makes is going to be squeaky. I thought it would sound something like a Diwali firecracker or a larger Diwali firecracker, because it's a solid rocket. It doesn't have an engine in it. This is not a liquid rocket. So I thought it would be like something like that. Okay, I forgot that a rocket is nothing but a controlled explosion. It sounds exactly like a fucking explosion, and there is a shock wave that you can feel. You're that close to the launch pad. Okay, and the countdown starts at T-1 minute, and then every 15 seconds he gives a countdown. T-45, T-30, T-15, and at T-10 second the countdown starts. And everybody starts counting at that point, and then 10, 9, 8, and finally the rocket launches, which is a fucking explosion. You can feel the shock wave standing there. It is a giant roar after that. First you hear an explosion, and then a roar until it reaches high up in the altitude. Now this is a sounding rocket, which means it is only going it only is going on a ballistic path. It is going to crash back down in like a few minutes after it takes readings and all. So that's the whole story. That is what you can expect. Now after you watch this, you can move on to the museum, which is a church, which is where the initial control center used to be. Now it's retrofitted as a museum. Then you can learn more about the rockets and everything there. So that's my whole journey today. Let me know if you have any questions about this, and I will answer them in my next video. That's it for today. Until next time, bye.